how they are getting associated.
The Lagna Lord sitting in 9th house, which is very powerful,
Yeah,
and exalted.
Lord of trine in another trine, Lord of this trine in another trine, right? Or Lord of 9th house
Exalted
Lord of 9th house in
4th house.
in 4th house, Lord of trine in quadrant. तो ये भी बन गया.
Right.
So और एक Lord of 4th house in 4th house ऐसा
वो
भी
तो
होता है?
exalted. वो तो
अच्छा,
exalted.
okay, ठीक है.
We will come to that. We are coming to that. But for the time being, there is an association of trine with the quadrant, right? So जब भी ये जो association होता है quadrant and trine का, they make very very powerful yogas, and mostly we ignore them. But we should never ignore them, because quadrant and trine is known as Lakshmi yoga, but trine to trine is a Mahalakshmi yoga. It's a very powerful yoga actually. So we should always see in the horoscope कि ऐसा कुछ है तो नहीं, कि association तो नहीं हो रहा quadrant and trine का. अगर हो रहा है तो naturally we have to account for that. इसके बाद another yogas which are known as Panch Mahapurush yoga. Panch Mahapurush yogas. Panch Mahapurush means 5 great persons, or 5 types of great people actually. And this yogas are formed by the 5 planets: Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn. This Panch Mahapurush Yoga 5 planets से बनता है: Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus और Saturn से. And there are 2 conditions of this yoga. इस योग बनने की 2 condition हैं. Firstly, planet should be in the quadrant house. प्लैनेट जो है वो केंद्र में होना चाहिए. पहली कंडीशन है कि इस पंच महापुरुष योग बनने के लिए प्लैनेट शुड बी इन द क्वाड्रेंट. क्वाड्रेंट मींस these 4 houses, 1, 4, 7, 10 houses. And secondly, the planet should be either exalted or in its own sign. प्लैनेट जो है या तो उच्च का हो या अपनी राशि का हो, तब जो योग बनेगा तब हम उसको पंच महापुरुष योग कहते हैं. तो इन 5 प्लैनेट में से मार्स, मरकरी, जुपिटर, वीनस, सैटर्न में से कोई भी प्लैनेट अगर केंद्र में है और साथ में अपनी उच्च राशि में है या अपनी राशि में है, तो उन सब से जो योग बनते हैं वो 5 तरह के महापुरुष योग होते हैं. The yoga which is formed from Mars is known as a Ruchak Mahapurush yoga. जो पंच महापुरुष में the yoga which is formed because of Mars, if Mars is in the quadrant and is either in the own sign or in exaltation sign, the yoga known as Ruchak Mahapurush yoga. Ruchak Mahapurush yoga. And the yoga which is formed out of Mercury, which is basically known as Bhadra Mahapurush yoga. Bhadra Mahapurush yoga. And the yoga formed out of Jupiter, that is known as a Hans Mahapurush yoga. Hans Mahapurush yoga. And the Jupiter and the yoga formed out of Venus, it is known as a Malavya Mahapurush yoga. Malavya Mahapurush yoga. And the yoga formed out of Saturn is known as a Sas Mahapurush yoga. तो जो मार्स या मंगल से बनता है उसको हम रोचक महापुरुष योग कहते हैं. मरकरी या बुध से बनता है उसको हम भद्र महापुरुष योग कहते हैं. जुपिटर या गुरु से बनता है उसको हम हंस महापुरुष योग कहते हैं. शुक्र या वीनस से जो बनता है उसको मालव्य महापुरुष योग कहते हैं. और जो शनि या सैटर्न से बनता है उसको हम सस महापुरुष योग कहते हैं. So what would be the effect of these yogas? Suppose yoga is formed out of Mars. You become a great person as far as significations of Mars are concerned. वो क्या हो सकता है? You may get a very high position in defense. You may get a very high position in the police. You may be a wonderful sports person, well known. You may do some adventurous work so that you are well known. So any significations of Mars. In that field you go and you do well, you excel in that field, so you become a great person in that field. Mercury में क्या होगा? Mercury is basically a planet of communication. Basically a planet of communications. You become a good orator. You become a good writer. you become a very knowledgeable person, you become a good diplomat, you become a wonderful negotiator, you become a wonderful chairperson, you become a wonderful marketing personnel, or maybe good writer also. And anything connected with the communication, you may excel in that actually. तो ये मरकरी का इफेक्ट होगा. Similarly, जुपिटर का क्या होगा? So very knowledgeable. You go into the depth of knowledge in some particular field. You do some, you become a head of some NGO. You become a well-known monk, ascetic, or saint also. So anything connected with Jupiter. Similarly, Venus. So everything connected with the Venus, maybe in the field of entertainment, maybe IT, maybe good actor, maybe good painter, maybe good artist. All those things can happen if the yoga is formed out of Venus. And Sas yoga, which is formed out of Saturn, it basically concerned with the status. You get a very high status, maybe in the government, maybe in the politics, or in any other field actually. So you become a known person in that field also. तो ये 5 महापुरुष योग होते हैं जो कि 5 प्लैनेट से बनते हैं. एंड कंडीशन आपको पता होना चाहिए कि प्लैनेट केंद्र में हो पहली चीज, और या तो अपनी राशि में हो या उच्च की राशि में हो. अब जैसे यहाँ पर हाउ दिस योगा इज फॉर्म्ड बिकॉज ऑफ मार्स.
own राशि.
Mars is placed in the Kendra. Mars is in the quadrant house 1, 4, 7, 10, and it is in the own sign. It is in the own sign. तो हम इसको कहेंगे in this case this रुचक महापुरुष yoga is being formed. It's a case of रुचक महापुरुष योग. So it becomes a case of रुचक महापुरुष योग. या और किसी हॉरोस्कोप में देखें अगर, see in this case how these yogas are being formed.
So Venus quadrant में है और own sign में है.
Venus पहला, it is in the quadrant, first house, and it is in the own sign. So yoga formed is known as Malavya.
So even
Then,
Jupiter is in Kendra and exalted.
correct. Very good. Jupiter
Hans
is in the
Mahapurush.
Kendra and it is exalted. So it is making Hans Mahapurush Yoga. So there are 2 Mahapurush Yogas are being formed in this case. So this also we can see if any planet is forming Panch Mahapurush Yoga, then that person, that result you will get of that Mahapurush Yoga also. So naturally, you have to consider that also.
So if a planet is in Kendra and own sign और
जी.
exalted, तो वो exalted है तो उसका effect ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा own sign से, ऐसा भी है the auspicious.
हाँ, naturally देखिए कोई भी योग होता है वो डिपेंड करता है कि planet कितना strong है. Let's say Jupiter exalted है यहाँ पर, but Jupiter is a weak planet, let's say. Then naturally the result will not be to that extent what we can expect when the planet is strong actually. So naturally when it's exalted, the result will be better. When it's in the own sign, the result will be much slightly lesser than that actually. And we have also to see the strength of the planet. Jupiter should be sufficiently strong also. Then only it can give the result. And apart from the various yogas or the Raj yogas, most important thing is that these yogas don't operate if sun and moon are not well placed in the horoscope. If sun and moon are not well placed in the horoscope, कोई भी राजयोग है जब तक वो ऑपरेट नहीं होता, जब तक सन और मून का जो प्लेसमेंट है हॉरोस्कोप में स्ट्रॉन्ग ना हो, अच्छा ना हो, तो कितने भी राजयोग क्यों ना हो हॉरोस्कोप में, बट वो ऑपरेट ही नहीं होंगे. और आप देखते भी होंगे बहुत से लोग आपके पास आएंगे, बहुत अच्छे अच्छे हॉरोस्कोप होंगे, बहुत अच्छे राजयोग होंगे, लेकिन इज एन ऑर्डिनरी पर्सन बिकॉज राजयोगा इज नॉट बीइंग ऑपरेटेड बिकॉज सन एंड मून आर नॉट वेल प्लेस्ड. So that also we have to see that sun and moon should be well placed for getting any Raj Yoga operative. Otherwise वो operate ही नहीं होते राज योग. तो वो भी देखना जरूरी है. तो बट ये दो कंडीशन लगाकर आप देख सकते हैं कि कोई भी ये पंच महापुरुष योग है या नहीं है। इसमें नहीं है कोई भी, इसमें भी नहीं है। No, these are not common actually. These are very rare yogas. No. So anyway, you have to see whether planet is placed in the quadrant, and secondly, it should be either in the own sign or in the exaltation sign. तब ये योग बनते हैं पंच महापुरुष योग. Now we come to Guru Chandal Yoga. What is Guru Chandal Yoga?
It's a combination of Jupiter and Rahu.
If there is a conjunction of Jupiter with Rahu or Ketu, दोनों में से किसी के साथ हो, और Jupiter is placed in the constellation of Rahu. Jupiter या तो राहु के नक्षत्र में हो या Jupiter के साथ राहु या केतु का कंजंक्शन हो, युति हो, तब जो योग बनता है उसको हम गुरु चांडाल योग कहते हैं. गुरु इज जुपिटर एंड राहु इज बेसिकली डेमन, राक्षस, तो गुरु को खराब करता है, तो इसीलिए इसका नाम गुरु चांडाल योग रखा, गुरु और चांडाल का एसोसिएशन. The question is कि what results you can expect from this yoga, with this Guru Chandal yoga. There can be 4 types of situations. 4 तरह की situation हो सकती हैं with Guru Chandal yoga. पहला यह है कि person is agnostic or atheist. नास्तिक हो जाता है person. Person doesn't believe in the existence of God. एक जो इफेक्ट है गुरु चांडाल योग का, जो नेगेटिव इफेक्ट है कि पर्सन जो है वो नास्तिक बन जाता है, वो doesn't believe in the existence of the God actually. So that may be the one of the situation with this yoga, कि you become an atheist. Second situation may be you become a religious bigot. Religious bigot means कि you are very staunch believer of your religion, but you hate other religions. आप अपने धर्म के प्रति तो बहुत कट्टर हैं, लेकिन दूसरे धर्मों को घृणा करते हैं. You don't tolerate the other religions actually. So that is basically religious bigot, and that we see nowadays all these terrorists, etc. They are very particular about their own religion, but they hate other religions. So that is another effect, another negative effect of this Guru Chandal Yoga. तीसरा है कि you don't believe in the normal procedure for puja path, doing religious and spiritual activities. Normal एक protocol है कि पूजा पाठ हम लोग कैसे करते हैं, which is prescribed in our shastras also. But these people, they go against that, which we call it a black magic. तंत्र मंत्रों का इस्तेमाल करके, उल्टे सीधे काम करके, they go in that field actually, because many people you might have seen, they go to the cremation ground and do some siddhi vidhi and mantra jap in the night there actually. So that is basically tantra shastra, and we call it a black magic, or in Hindi we call it shudra mantra. तो black magic में involved हो जाते हैं, जो पूजा पाठ करने का normal तरीका होता है उससे हटके उनका अपना तरीका बन जाता है, तो उसको हम कहते हैं black magic.